The new year doesn't require more motivation. What it requires is standards, structure, and discipline. So everyone looks at a calendar or the end of the year as a defining point to start the year. The calendar doesn't dictate the year, the structure and the process dictates the year. What you find with a lot of people, they enter this point of the year, they're reflecting on the new year and they're daydreaming and they're looking at the new year. Everyone's approaching it with excitement and looking at the new year. But what you normally find is by the end of January or even sooner or early February, most people's motivation fades away. And that's why it's very important to have a structure and a process that you follow. Because most people fail because they give up too soon. But if you've got a structure and a process in place and you keep repeating it and you check it week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, you reflect at the end of the month, then you start the next month. If you keep going throughout the year, you'll suddenly find that you'll start to achieve your goals. But what happens is most people give up and they give up too soon. And it's a case of rinse and repeat, keep going month after month, week after week, year after year. So you find that once people get distracted with day-to-day life, they get back to work, they get back in the office, without a system and a process to follow, you'll see that most people's goals will fail. And my advice would be, now's the time to put discipline, structure, process in place, and that way you'll make sure you stay on your goals. And always remember that if you write something down and you measure what you've written down, then you can reflect on it. Most people go with their New Year's resolutions in their head, good ideas, dreams, they want to change their life. But if you haven't got structure, process, discipline in place, it will not happen. So my advice to you would be, the new year is about setting structure, process. It's not about motivation. Motivation is good. Motivation will get you started, but it's the structure and process that will keep you going to the end. So that's what I would advise everyone to do. Start looking at structure, process, and discipline. Did you achieve your 2025 goals? So this is a time of year now where everyone's going to start setting goals for the coming year. And what a lot of people do, they get to the end of the year and they start planning the next year. And I call it planning forward. I'm a very positive person and I believe in being positive and always looking at things from a motivational point of view. But I think one of the things people stop to do is they stop to reflect on what worked well, what hasn't worked well. So I call it planning backwards. What I think you should do is you go through 2025 and you look at what did you actually put in place, how did you perform, and then you see where your gaps are. A lot of people, they'll plan forward. They won't go through their previous goals because some of your previous year's goals might still be relevant for the coming year. So I would go through a simple aspects of this way. I would look at, okay, health and fitness. Did you set health and fitness goals? How did you perform? Relationships goals. How were your relationships? Tick that box. Then I would get into the business side of things, and the business side can be more KPI driven, numbers driven. So you can reflect, did you achieve? Did you not achieve? That way you've gone through your whole year. And this is the thing that's really tough for a lot of people to understand, is that really, if you really want to do really, really well, you have to be hard on yourself and really score yourself. Did you really achieve the goals? How many of you are sitting there now, comfortable at home, looking at the new year, knowing 100% you smashed your goals, you achieved your health and fitness goals, you achieved your relationship goals, you achieved your business goals? How much money did you make? If you're money orientated, because not everything is about money, but at the end of the day, let's be brutally honest, if you look at your bank account now, have you really got financial freedom? Did you really achieve the money you said you were going to? If you're saving money, if you're saving for a car, if you're saving to buy a house, or you're starting your business, did you really achieve them goals? Once you establish where the gaps are, the next thing you need to do is understand what stopped you achieving them goals. Once you understand what stopped you achieving them goals, you have to remove them blockages. And let's look at the new year. My first piece of advice would be is that when you look at a year, what a lot of people do is when they make New Year's resolutions, they're not really in a structured way. So my first piece of advice is everything you decide to do going forward, write it down. Once you get to the end of that list, look at the list and ask yourself this question. Is this achievable, what I'm putting down on paper? But also, is there too many goals? Sometimes it's better to say, right, let's pick 3 subjects. Let's pick health and fitness. What are we going to do on health and fitness? 1 goal. Relationships. What am I going to do in relationships? Business. 3 key areas of your life. A lot of people, they'll put 10, 15, 20 goals, and really that may be too many goals. And I believe in having more specific goals, less goals, but really measurable goals. That way you can say, right, health and fitness, is it I want to lose weight? Is it I want to sign up a gym membership? Do I want to go 3 times a week, 5 times a week? You set really, really small, realistic goals. Reason I start with health and fitness is that I believe health and fitness is key to have energy, to feel good about yourself, because once you get that, that gives you the momentum. So if you fix your health and fitness, then I believe relationships are very, very important. And you've got 2 types of relationships. You've got your personal relationship with your partner, husband, wife. Then you've got your peer group relationship. That's a very, very important area to focus on, because if you've got the wrong people around you, not motivating you or draining your energy, that could be one of the reasons you got distracted on your goals. I mean, how many times did you go out to dinner? How many times did you spend money that you didn't want to spend? So it's really important that you sort out 2 types of relationships: personal, peer group. I believe personal comes first. You have to put effort into your personal relationship. You have to, set out date nights, you have to do nice things, because if you're happy at home and your partner's happy, you'll be happy. Then your peer group, cut off anybody that's draining your energy. Yes, that's harsh. Anyone that drains your energy in 2025, let them go now. Moving on to 2026. If you really, really want to be really, really successful, it all comes down to discipline, structure, actions. I know I sound like a robot when I say that, because I repeat the same things every time, but I really believe it comes down to having a really good plan in place, written down, structure. You follow that structure and you have the discipline, just month after month, just keep following it. So that would be my advice. Don't plan forward, look backwards first, work out what worked, what didn't work, then you plan forward. But when you plan forward, you have to have a structure, a process. So I wish everyone a fantastic start to 2026, and I hope you've got value out of these tips, because trust me, if you plan forward without looking at what's not working now, what's not working now will affect you going forward. So that's what I would advise you to do, is you look at last year gaps, correct them gaps with corrective actions, then you put goals in place. Do not put too many goals in place. Put stretching goals, but not too many. That would be my advice to 2026. The new year will reward clarity and punish chaos. So what do I mean by that? The world is changing. The business environment's changing, society's changing, so there's faster decision making, business is changing, AI is taking over, we need to reinvent ourselves, and as leaders, it's very important that we take decisive decisions based on structure and process, and we don't have emotional reactions. So the world is changing, and it will punish those that haven't got the right structure and process in place. Time is moving very quickly. So in business now, it's very important to have structure, processes in place, and reinvent yourself. If we stay the same, time will move on, business will move on. So this is about self-improvement, reflecting, putting structures in place, upskilling, learning new technologies, faster decision making. Business is tough now. Lots of competition out there, lots of people competing for the same jobs, the same roles, the same business. So trust me when I say this, the people that are working in chaos will really struggle this year. The people that have got clarity, goal set, structure, strategy in place will really perform in 2026. The world is changing. We may have had a good year last year. If we do the same, We may fail, so we need to look at systems, processes, and keep changing with the world. It's moving fast. So the rewards that will come in 26 will be coming from discipline, process, structure, not chaos. You will get penalized for chaos. And another topic I want to get into is ideas. So we've all been in meeting rooms where everybody's got an idea. And let's be brutally honest, ideas, everyone's got an idea, everyone's got an opinion, but it means nothing without structure and process and proper KPIs in place. So you'll be in a meeting room and you'll hear everyone saying, what about this, what about that? But it's very rare you'll hear people say, right, okay, here's my idea, here's the KPIs for this idea, here's the structure, here's the process of how I'm going to deliver this idea. So that's very, very important. Also, when we come up with all these ideas, it's very important as leaders that we look at our team's strengths, weaknesses, and learn how to delegate properly. Because sometimes what you see, the strongest person in the room ends up with the most work, and that's not the way to run an organization. It's very important to look at the team's skills, abilities, and to delegate. That's very, very important. Another subject I want to touch on is the cost of being reactive. And what do I mean by that? If you haven't got a proper structure and process in place, what you see is a lot of financial decisions are made in haste with the heart and not the head. And when you reflect, how much money have you lost in your business for not having a proper structure and process in place? How many deals you think it's a good deal, but actually when you look at the P&L at the end of the month and you reflect, well, actually you've signed a contract, and when you get to the end of the contract, you realize that actually we've actually lost money. So that's the cost of being reactive. So my strong advice would be, make sure that ideas are good, but structure and process and discipline always wins in the end. Goals without structure are just wishes. So without the right structure in place, goals are meaningless in my opinion. What do I mean by structure? So I believe that goal setting should be balanced across all areas of your life. So let's start with what I call your personal goals. So I believe this starts with your routines and your health and fitness, which will reflect on the way you feel, your energy. So have you got a structure? Do you set a way of working every day? Do you get up early in the morning? Do you go to the gym? Do you go to yoga? Do you do some type of movement? So have you got a structure in place that you repeat during the week? So everyone talks about being health and fitness, to losing weight, but have you actually written something down? Have you got a routine? Have you got a gym membership? Have you got a plan of how you're going to start January? So without that structure in place, the goals are meaningless. You can set a goal to say, right, okay, I want to be able to get defined six-pack abs, I want to lose weight, but without having a proper structure and a plan to follow and an accountability in place, they are meaningless. So I always start with health and fitness, because I think, particularly relating to work and business, if you've got energy and you're highly motivated, you could be highly motivated, but without the energy to execute the goals, you end up burning out and you feel tired. So I really think it's important to have some sort of written down structure to what I call your personal standards. So that's starting with your personal standards. Then moving on to relationships. I think relationships are very, very important to have a structure in place. So I believe, especially when it comes to your personal relationship, we all get busy, we work long hours. I think it's very important to plan your weeks, your months, to set regular date nights, to plan your weekends and your spare time with your partner. And I also think it's important to then look at your peer group relationships, because your peer groups are very, very important. I believe the people you spend the most time with are the people that reflect on your life. So if you've got negative people around you, people that are depressed, people that are negative, people that are poor, then that's the type of mentality that you'll wake up to every day, and it will reflect on you. Versus if you've got a very inspiring peer group, hardworking people that are chasing their goals, that reflects. A lot of people have got friends also, which is a touchy subject, family members that are very negative, that drain your energy. So it's very, very important to put some structure and goals in place. For example, if someone's wasted your time last year, or you've got a particular family member, I'm not saying cut the member out of your life, but obviously make it part of your structure and your process, not to spend so much time with them. The next subject I want to touch on is the financial side. A lot of people reach out to me and say, right, okay, you've gone from the shop floor, you're the successful CEO now, living on the palm, running one of the biggest companies in Dubai. But how did that happen? I think everyone sets financial goals, but I think you have to be realistic. Dubai, and I think the world, is a very competitive market. I think every year it changes, every year the competition's more. So you have to set really ambitious goals, but you have to really structure how you're going to get it. I'll give you some examples. What I've seen in Dubai over the last 17 years is that I didn't start on the palm in a 5-bedroom villa. I started renting. Then when I decided to buy, I bought within my means. I saved up the money. I stopped going out. And what do I mean by stop going out? I think there's a lot of things you can do in life that don't cost money. You can go for nice walks on the beach. You can go to nice parks in Dubai, things that don't cost money. But if you're in a peer group, and particularly in Dubai, I see this a lot, everyone's influenced with the lifestyle, the nice cars, going out to dinner. But if you do that week after week, month after month, what you see at the end of the month is that you're actually not saving any money. And if you've really got ambitious goals to get to the highest point in your life, you have to live within your means. I'm not saying don't go out, but it's not always about paying for everything. It's not always about going for fine dining restaurants, but you have to really structure. And a simple tool I would give everyone is that you take a piece of paper, you work out your incoming finances. So if you're salaried, paid, how much salary, you deduct all your bills. That leaves you with a sum of money at the end of the month, which is what I call disposable income. And some of that you need to save. But what you'll see, most people, they'll get to the end of the month and they'll spend their disposable income. They'll get to the end of the 12 months and they'll look back on the year and say, well, I haven't really progressed. And this is a tough pill to swallow, because there'll be people listening to this now. If you really reflect on your bank balance, you've done a year in Dubai, everyone moves here with a story, but most people, if they're honest, has come into Dubai to better themselves. If you're really, really brutally honest, what did you achieve in the last 12 months? And you can say, well, I went to some really nice brunches. I met these nice young ladies. I met this nice peer group. But actually, what drain has that put on your bank balance versus your goals and why you came here? And a lot of people get distracted. And that's why I call your financial ambition your reality. And where are you? And I honestly would advise you, every month, at the end of the month, you look at, right, okay, whatever disposable income I've got, some of that has to go into some sort of savings, some sort of investments. Then your disposable income is left behind to do the nice things. If you do that month after month, year after year, that's how you can go from renting to having a nice lifestyle in Dubai. A lot of what you see in Dubai is false. People have got credit cards, people are taking car loans, and trust me, if you really, really want to be financially successful, you have to save money and you have to have a financial plan. And this is the hardest thing people find, is at the end of the month, people say, oh, I don't really want to look at the bank balance, I don't want to look at the credit card statements. If you confront that now, and you put a financial plan in place that every month you do this, you'll suddenly see, you'll start to really realize how much money you're wasting and how much money you can save. So that's the financial part. And then it gets on to what I call the business part. And you can be an employee or you can be running a business, but I think you need to have a plan in place. And if you're an employee, you want to earn more salary, you obviously need to have a structure, a plan in place of how you're going to add value to that organization, how you're going to upskill yourself. Then you're in a position to ask for a promotion, if there's any promotions going, or ask for a salary increase. And obviously, if you're running your own business, it's even more important that you look at your plan, your structure, your KPIs, your strategy. How are you going to bring money into the business? It's really, really important that you've got this in place. And I always say this, that most people, goals fails, not because of the goals, it's because of the standards. And if you really want to have a successful 2026, it's all about standards and discipline. Yes, this might sound boring to a lot of people, but really, if you could put that structure in place, the measuring the KPIs and the enthusiasm you feel now at the start of the year, you have to have that daily. You have to get up in the morning with the same enthusiasm. You measure your day, you reflect on your day, you measure your week, you reflect your week, you measure your month, you measure your quarter, you measure your 6 months, you measure your end of year. That's the way to really work in a structured way. Goals without structure and discipline are meaningless, and trust me, if you put this in place, you'll start to see where you are. And yes, at times you'll see you're not where you need to be. It's very painful, but if you see the harsh reality of where you are and you start to adjust, you'll suddenly see yourself be successful. And let's fast forward 12 months. A question I've got for you: do you want to repeat 2025 or do you want to make a change? I'm not saying everything I've said on this video will resonate with you, but there'll be some simple tools that I've given you today that if you implement, I guarantee you'll suddenly see 2026 will be different. So that would be my advice. Goals fail because of our standards and our discipline and our structure, not because the goals are wrong. It's the process that we're following is wrong. So that would be my advice for 2026. Put discipline, structure, and goals in place. High performers don't self-manage forever. So what do I mean by that? So when we look at high performance, let's take sport, for example. If you look at all the world elite athletes, sportsmen around the world, they've all had coaches. So if you look at Tiger Woods, he's got someone analysing his swing. He's got someone watching what he does, coaching him from behind the scenes. Same for Michael Jordan. He had a coach, he had someone analysing what he did. That's how he became elite. Coaches can support, they can give you accountability, they can look at things that you don't see, they can look for blind spots. But let's move on to business. Most truly world-class leaders or business executives have always had executive coaching, or they've got someone mentoring them behind the scenes. And what do I mean by that? Someone that's got a proven track record, a coach, an executive coach, can see things that you may not be able to see and can support you. Also, when you're very good at what you do, in order to continually improve, it's always good to have someone analyzing what you do, looking for the 1%. So what do I mean by 1%? You can be doing very well, but imagine improving by 1%, then another 1%. So when you look at executive coaching, what I do when I meet with clients, obviously, I'm at a certain age, I've done various careers. I've got a proven track record of running businesses, seeing different types of situations, different business environments. And I think I'm in a position where I can see things that some people can't. Also, as you go up the executive ladder, it's a very lonely place. What do I mean by that? Well, when you're the leader or the head of the department, who can you really talk to? You can't talk to peers. You can't talk to people that are reporting to you about things that you're struggling with, decisions, presentations coming up, board meetings. How do you get ready? How do you structure? How do you process? We all have doubts, and it doesn't matter what role you're in. You all have coaches or someone there to help you. For me personally, I was sweeping shop floors in London, okay? So for me to go from sweeping shop floors in London to now running one of the biggest companies in Dubai as a CEO and being very successful, how did I do it? So first of all, self-investment. I started off reading every sort of motivational book, self-development, looked on YouTube, started learning. But really where I started to really improve is I started to invest in mentors, going to various seminars, investing my own money. Even sometimes when money was really tight, I'd rather invest in self-development than do like a social event or spend money on wasted things. So throughout my career, I've always invested in coaches or someone to support me. So I'm into health and fitness. I've done health and fitness for years. I'm very experienced in health and fitness, but I still have a coach because that coach can give me more guidance, can spot blind spots and help me to improve. Even in business, I've still got mentors now. Yes, I'm a successful CEO, but I've got people that mentor me. I've got people around me that can help me. I've got people that I can go to for advice. That's what executive coaching can bring. Every leader, as they go up the journey, will struggle in certain areas. And when you're a solo person in a company or a person starting a business, there's going to be subjects that you may not have touched on. You're going to have imposter syndrome when you get promoted, and when you're running a business, you've got people around you, lots of stress, lots of process. Executive coaching, what it can bring, okay? You can break down your goals, you can have structure, you can have process. Imagine mapping out your year and you know exactly what you're going to do each month, each week. You meet weekly, you discuss problems, you put corrective actions in place. It's really having that support network. And what you'll find is that I believe there's always a return on investment in executive coaching, because there's lots of people that say, oh, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I can do this and do that. Number one, look at the track record, look at the history. What companies have they worked on? What business have they run? Also, if you're going to invest money, you need to have a return. So when you work with a professional executive coach, you'll have KPIs in place, you'll do weekly reviews, monthly reviews, you'll have a strategy, you'll have a goal setting document in place, and you should see that something's wrong. So when I work with people, what I always do, I send out a document, and it's a fact-finding document to find out, it's a series of questions about personal goals, business goals, what's held them back in the past, because I really like to understand the client that I'm going to work with. Then I always do a 1-hour meeting, which is free of charge, where I sit down. There's two reasons I do this. Number one, I want to show the value that I can bring. I also want to make sure that the person is serious, and also I want the person to be comfortable before they go into the coaching relationship, so they get to know me, they get to know the history of what I've done. That way we get off to a good start to start with. Then we put a document in place of, right, okay, what are the goals, what are the structure, what are the weekly meetings we're going to do, and then we start the documentation process of writing these goals down. We start the weekly coaching sessions, we discuss gaps. And what you normally see by having that structure and weekly follow-up, that brings, number one, accountability, because if you're investing money, you need to be held accountable for that investment to make sure you get a return. And for me, it's very important that when I go into a coaching relationship, I'm a partner with that person. I want them to be successful. So if it's a business, I want the business to be successful. If it's an individual, I want them to be successful. So that's the value that you get out of executive coaching. And trust me, all world-class performers have got a support network behind them. And I remember when I went to one of my first personal development seminars, what I took from that, and it was an Anthony Robbins seminar, and it's someone that I've followed for quite a long time, and he gave this piece of advice. The quickest way to be successful is do not reinvent the wheel. Find a mentor, someone that's been there, done it, experienced it. That's the way to really fast track your life. And I'm very, very confident in the people that I work with that, trust me, something that might take someone 3 years, I probably can do it in 6 to 12 months, because I've been there, I've done it. I've gone from sweeping shop floors, various different roles, various different companies, to running one of the biggest companies. So I've seen a lot, I've learned a lot. I don't know everything, but I'm sure I can add value to most people's coaching journey. And the really way to fast track and really get to your goals is that, yes, some people can argue, yes, I've got to invest money, but trust me, if you really want to get to the highest points in your career, life, sport, business, you have to self-invest to get the return. And in my career, I've invested lots of money in my self-development, because I really want to better myself. So I want to work with better people. I like to go to seminars. Not every seminar I go to, I find the seminar that everything's great in the seminar, but I always take little bits from that seminar that I can improve my life. So that's what I feel executive coaching can bring. So if you're watching this video today, the first thing I'd like to say, if you're getting value, please subscribe to my channel. There'll be weekly content coming out. Also, if you're interested in having a discussion on executive coaching and perhaps taking on my services, you can reach me on my Instagram. If you click the link on my bio, you can go through to my website, so you can find out a lot more information. Or you can drop me a direct message on Instagram, or you can even drop a comment in the comment section and I'll reply to you. So if it's something that you're interested in, I'd strongly encourage you to reach out to me. It's the start of a new year. This is the perfect time, if you really want that life-changing moment, is to sign up for executive coaching, put goals in place. And I'm very confident that if you take that bold decision to do that, you'll have a different outcome in the coming year, because Imagine going through a year with no structure and process. How can you possibly get to a destination if you don't know where you're going? By having a proper structure, process in place and a roadmap to get there, that's the only way you can be successful. Everyone that's going through life without a plan, you're losing time. You get to the end of the year, you reflect and wonder why you haven't got to where you need to get to. And it can be as simple as just having a structure, a process, weekly accountability, and someone holding you accountable and motivating you to get towards your goals. So if that is something of interest to you, please subscribe to my channel. Please reach out to me on Instagram. I post daily on my Instagram account as well. So there's a lot of content that I'm giving free, and there's a lot of value that I'm trying to bring through my content. So if it's of interest to you, please reach out.